Hey guys, weekend energy update as we close out what has been representing really this monumental energetic shift happening this week. Pluto left the sign of Capricorn, entered the sign of Aquarius, where he will remain for the next 20 years, bringing us a generational energetic shift. I've been talking about it in the videos all week. We'll talk about it a little bit more today, but we are wrapping this week up. We have some moon transits that we actually need to talk about coming into play this weekend. The moon's transiting the sign of Virgo, you guys. If you've been following along the past couple months, I've been saying because of like Pisces planets that we've had going on when the moon transits Virgo, there has just kind of been a lot happening and a lot going on, and this weekend is no different. Friday, we have our third quarter square moon. The moon in Virgo will square the sun in Sagittarius. On Saturday, the moon in Virgo will oppose Saturn. If there's like a job that needs to be done, or if you need to put some like focused thought or effort into something, Saturday is the day that you want to do it, because on Sunday, things could get a little bit scattered. The moon in Virgo will be squaring both Mercury and Jupiter in Gemini and Sagittarius. This is not the most like mentally cohesive energy, and not only that, will also be forming an opposition to Neptune and Pisces, so things could be a little bit all over the place on Sunday. Miscommunications, misunderstandings, like delusions and illusions and confusion, and I don't know, could be a little bit crazy out there on Sunday. So if there's something that needs to be done, definitely do it on Saturday. We got a lot to talk about this weekend, lots of lunar activity going on. Let's get into our report, you guys. Let's put all this together, see where we're at, where we're going, what things are looking like as we head into the weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, November 22nd, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. In this video, we're going to talk about all the astrology that we have playing out this weekend and what our setup is looking like as we head into the energy of next week. Of course, as you guys know, if you've been following along in the astrology, we had Pluto formally change signs this week. Pluto is a very slow-moving outer planet. It represents power in all of its forms, and when Pluto changes signs, it generally tends to represent a generational shift, because Pluto stays in a sign anywhere between usually like 10 and 20 years. Pluto just finished, as of November 19th this week, his 16-year transit of the sign of Capricorn. We are ending the Pluto Capricorn generation and formally entered, as I said, the sign of Aquarius, where he is now going to be for the next 20 years through 2044. So we have a 20-year Pluto Aquarius generational energy that we are formally in now. This shift took place this week. You may have had, a pretty transformative week, or there could have just been some significant things playing out, or you could be at a point where you're realizing or recognizing or experiencing some type of big change that is happening for you in your life. This is an energy that foundationally shifts things, and Pluto is also a planet that has to do with death and rebirth and transformation and purge and regeneration. It is on one hand about destruction, but it's also about rebirth. It's the phoenix rising energy, and it does rule power in all of its forms. So things are definitely going to start orienting themselves a bit differently moving forward. I do believe this should actually be quite an self-empowering period of time that we go through over this next 20 years or so. Aquarius is a sign of self-knowledge and self-understanding, and it has a lot to do in this particular context with also things that are happening in the air and in the ether. There is definitely probably going to be some type of like space age or like sci-fi world type of like very inventive nature to what comes with this. New forms of energy are likely to come from this, as well as Pluto rules what powers things, and Aquarius is this very like ether-based air sign. Of course, this transit's also going to mark this transition to a more decentralized power model in the context of all things and all industries. The flip side of that will be the re-empowerment of the individual through actually information as a power source. The power of knowledge, the power of information being really this catalyst for tremendous change right now, with Pluto moving into an air sign, all about information and a higher understanding of things, self-knowledge, self-awareness, and ability to make better choices for ourselves outside of like industry standards and like the common model and template that the group average was supposed to have benefited from when we were in the more centralized Capricornian power model. All of that is about to sort of go by the wayside. We're going to have a lot more choices, options, to choose from, and it's going to be much more about making the choices for ourselves that contribute to this process of self-actualization, which is going to be hitting collectively on some level. All of us are going to be striving in some way to better ourselves somehow, even if it's just in the littlest ways, or it could be like total life overhauls where we're just like really waking up to something and getting it in gear and discovering this whole new purpose that life has, universe, God has presented to us that we had no idea about, 2 weeks ago, but now everything has changed and we've got a whole new direction that our life is going in, and it feels so much more, fulfilling and just like truly aligned with our soul. I feel like this Aquarian energy, I mean, Pluto's also the subconscious. It's like the subconscious programming, like what's deeply held within the recesses of our mind. That is this powerful force that drives a lot of our behavior in like an unconscious way. With Pluto coming into the sign of Aquarius, there's going to also, I think, be like a light shown on a more collective level in terms of the true impact and power of the way the subconscious mind operates. And through gaining that awareness, we are going to become much more consciously able to like program that like algorithm that runs back there to assist in this process of self-actualization that really like it all boils down to, or rediscovering ourselves, redefining the trajectory of our lives, rediscovering our purpose or what we were meant to do on some level. Aquarius is a sign and Uranus is a planet. I feel like that both are in a lot of ways facilitated with this higher purpose or higher destiny, the cosmic blueprint coming to pass. So a major, I think, part of this 20-year period of time is going to be a more collectivized awakening to really just like this higher calling. A lot of people, like I said, are going to be like getting in gear, and it could be something that happens just totally instantaneously because Aquarius is the lightning, like it like in a stroke of lightning, flash of insight, sudden epiphany, like instant download, and now I know, just like hitting me out of nowhere and like totally changing everything. That could definitely be the way that this comes into fruition, manifests, transpires. It seems like actually quite probable that that's the way that this would go, but it could also just be kind of this inner knowing, like this deep inner knowing that just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows to the point where it's undeniable, and like the alarm clock is ringing so loudly within us that we like can't deny the wake-up call anymore. So it could go both ways. This is a 20-year process, but Aquarius is also a sign about things happening literally like split second, instantly out of nowhere. So there's going to be spontaneous awakenings where people just get a flash of insight and understand the purpose of their life and their destiny and like are on board with going in that direction. And then there's going to be people that are just like making changes to things and not even aware of it, not even conscious of it, not even knowing it, and then like thinking about it, like a couple months down the road, like, whoa, when did I start doing that like that? You know what I mean? Like, that's actually working out pretty well for me. So whether it's a conscious thing or an unconscious thing, this is the era of change, you guys. We are in the generation of major changes happening for the purpose of putting things right somehow. That's also what Aquarius and Uranus are about, the galactic fixer, putting things right. Wherever the cosmic plan has gotten too off course for one reason or another, that's when the lightning strikes the tower. That's when we get this Aquarius like epicenter upload where we get just kind of like this new programming put in and things are like in a process of being upgraded, and we've got to make the changes to get in line with that. And again, that's also why this energy, it's like it makes the changes for us we haven't been able to make for ourselves. So that can bring disruption, that can bring chaos, that can bring destruction when the things that we've built are no longer, or become more of like a hindrance or a blockade than what is supportive of this path to growth. But as I tend to say when I'm talking about Aquarius, this is a sign co-ruled by Saturn, the ancient ruler of Aquarius, and Uranus, the modern ruler of Aquarius. These two forces are quite contradictory in nature. Saturn is, it's the planet with the rings. Like, it's contained, it's limited, it's restrained, it's about control. Uranus breaks boundaries. Uranus is the wrecking ball. Uranus is the lightning striking tower. Saturn is the tower where we're walled in, you know, and Uranus is that lightning bolt that comes through and like shatters everything. So when we consider that dualistic, like the weird contradictory nature of those two planets hosted in one sign, of course that's going to be a weird experience, which is I think a lot of times why Aquarius gets the reputation of sort of being like the oddball out there, because it's like, what am I doing with all of this, you guys? Like, I got these two very like kind of polarized energies going on at once. But I do think it's actually about learning how to break ourselves free from anything that would limit our path to aligning with that higher purpose. However, we can't totally disregard the Saturnian principles, or we're just going to be flying all around out there with like no grounding, no direction, no plan. And that is often the case in the Aquarius energy too. If there's not a respect for the Saturnian qualities of the sign, a lot of times Aquarius is just way out in left field. Like, just, you know, it can be not the best experience if you're dealing with somebody who is coming from like baby Aquarius type of energy, where these two distinct notions, Saturn and Uranus, are not properly balanced. And the same if the Saturnian side of things is too strong. It can make people like really, really stubborn, really super fixated, like very just like willful and unable to open up a little bit and maybe be able to release some of that like fixated, like things have to be done my way in a certain way type of energy. So there needs to be a balance. And I personally find, I mean, in its higher octaves, Saturn is the teacher, Saturn is the disciplinarian and the judge, but it's about bringing us to a state of mastery. And that is, I think, what we can achieve when we balance these two archetypal energies within the Aquarian dynamic and energy field. It's this like self-mastery that can come when we can practice the self-discipline and the self-control and the responsibility that is mandated by Saturn, but in the context of being able to be outside the box and to like not necessarily follow every single rule to a T, but still know how to discipline ourselves in a way that allows us to have that unique approach or do whatever's different or whatever we feel called to do, even if it's outside the norm, but do it in a way that can be successful instead of in a way that is just like super wild and having like just no ability to ground itself into something that makes sense and is productive and successful. Okay, so that's kind of my little spiel on Aquarius, and I'm probably going to be doing that very often as we move forward into this new energy, and we really need to learn to work with the energy. But self-discipline in the context of self-mastery and becoming all that we can be. Yes, we want to be different. Yes, we want to be outside the box, but in this breakdown of authority that this energy also indicates as we go through this process of power decentralizing and everything that used to kind of control and maintain the structure of our lives, maybe in an external way, kind of breaking down, we have to be able to find that structure and that discipline and that grounding internally in the context of making these dreams come true or following this destiny that we feel called to move towards. Okay, so that's that. And as we actually move through the energy of this weekend, I think that some of these themes could be coming up a little bit. There is also this concept of like fact and fiction, fantasy and reality. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to believe. My beliefs and what I thought I understood about something being kind of at odds perhaps with some context or some details or some information that I'm seeing, or, you know, perhaps I thought things were a certain way and now I'm seeing something else and it's like totally altering my beliefs about something or my opinion about something, and the maybe like inner conflict or the literal maybe like argument or debate that could result as a result of that. There is like a, I would say, and a stronger than normal, stronger than average energy for like arguments and debates, especially over information coming through this weekend when we have the moon transiting the sign of Virgo, going to be making all these aspects to all these planets, especially on Friday when the moon in Virgo hits the third quarter square to the sun in Sagittarius. That is also, I mean, Sagittarius is a sign about beliefs. It can be kind of more like a know-it-all type of energy if it's taken too far. And it's what we understand, like our higher viewpoint, our higher understanding about things, what we believe to be true. And then Virgo, this is the details, this is the facts, this is like the nitty-gritty information, this is the context of things. And the square, this can present conflict, and with the sun and the moon, this can also present like an internalized conflict. So we could find out that something isn't what we thought it was, that could kind of upset us a little bit, or we could like just something that is playing out, or communication, conversation, information, something could be just at odds with what we believed to be true about something perhaps, and that could be maybe causing a little bit of upset. But that really is sort of a generalized vibe I feel like that we've got going on all weekend. Sagittarius, we've got Mercury in Sagittarius right now as well, and a mutual reception with Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. While I do think over this next couple of weeks we are probably moving into some quite positive, uplifting, optimistic energy as the sun prepares to come into an opposition with Jupiter, right now, just as the moon transits Virgo though and makes the opposition to Saturn and squares the planets in Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius and Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, like it's just, people could be kind of going at it, especially again in the context of like one person believes this, one person found this out, and now we're feuding and we're arguing and we're debating about the facts and the information and the beliefs that are associated with them. So there's just sort of like that generalized vibe going on right now. Illusions breaking down, of course, is one of the main underlying themes of everything that we're moving through right now as well. So that again could be presenting somehow this weekend in that context of what we thought we knew and what we're finding out coming up against each other somehow. As I said, and we'll talk about this more, I'll go day by day and break down the energy as we get through this video, but Saturday is the day if you need to get something done, something straightforward, something streamlined, work on something that requires like focused thought and effort, you want to do it on Saturday. Sunday is kind of a wash, to be honest with you. Take the day off on Sunday. It's real hard to focus, like there's kind of just this daydreamy energy, kind of just getting maybe caught zoning out somehow. There's not a very streamlined mental cognition energy flow. We're gonna have the moon in Virgo squaring both Mercury and Jupiter. So people could like think they're on the right track. Like people might think they have some really big or good ideas about something, and something is like really great and it's really going to work out. But the truth about the matter, anything that's being presented to you in the energy of Sunday, or that people are pitching, or, you know, deals, if anybody's like trying to like make a deal or negotiate something on Sunday, I wouldn't really buy it. I wouldn't put too much faith in it. I wouldn't take it too seriously. The moon is opposite Neptune. Things fall apart when we have Neptune being activated by harsh aspect, and with the square to Jupiter and Mercury. There could be like a big game being talked, but it's not lining up with like the cold hard facts or the details. Make sure that you are very wary of like the fine print in any type of contractual situation or purchase or anything like that on Sunday. That would definitely probably be in your best interest. Sunday, people could also be kind of just like delusional about things, maybe on one, maybe just like all over the place. It is kind of a messy energy, very scattered energy when we've got Mercury in Sagittarius and Jupiter in Gemini in opposition and mutual reception being squared by the moon in Virgo, and also the opposition to Neptune coming a bit later in the day. Things are not just held together all that well. Sort of like a pinball machine. Everything's just kind of might focus and attention might sort of be going everywhere all the time. So if you've got like important thinking or important writing to do them on Saturday. Don't do them on Sunday. This energy supports being like hyper idealistic about things, maybe like fantasy type thinking, daydreaming of how things could be, but they tend to be in quite a stark contrast with reality just when we've got this particular setup going on. It could also though have us questioning what is real and what is not real, what is possible and what is not possible. People could definitely be in denial about things and like the true state of things on Sunday somehow. It's a good day. It is a good day to think big and conceptualize and maybe dream about the potentials of what could be, but we don't want to take them too seriously. There's just an inability to see the necessary like plan and path and strategy that needs to be laid correctly in order to make them actually to come into fruition when we've got this particular setup going on. You can just overlook some important details. We've got that Virgo moon Neptune opposition and the square from Mercury and Jupiter as well. So it's a good day to stay busy on Sunday. This is a very busy energy. It could be a very, very communicative energy as well, but like small chores and errands that matter but don't require any type of accuracy. Chores, laundry, cleaning, that's where we want to go with this. And also, as I was mentioning earlier, it could just be more argumentative, polarized viewpoints and opinions, beliefs could be coming through here. With Jupiter at 19 degrees of the sign of Gemini right now as well. That Sabian symbol is a large archaic volume, reveals traditional wisdom. So again, like the presentation of some information, perhaps from the past with Jupiter retrograde, could just be kind of like upsetting the mental status quo somehow, maybe throwing something into the equation that we weren't aware of or didn't see coming that could cause some type of like conflict or just a need to like debate or talk it out somehow. Arguments over truth and information. Something isn't clear though with the Neptune opposition, or we're not seeing something entirely right. So it's just best not to be too sure of ourselves, even if we feel like we know what's going on Sunday. Probably not best to like be too concreted in whatever it is or put too much faith in other people's ideas, words, plans. But this is just on Sunday because of this lunar influence. I've been talking about how we're actually in very good energy right now, very supportive energy for deals, negotiations, plans, sales, like business projects, all that type of stuff is very supported. Big transactions and stuff with Mercury and Jupiter in opposition, in mutual reception to each other as well. And we also are in some very fated energy, you guys. We have had Mars in a trine to the North Node, which I've been talking about. This is like a time of fated action that we have happening right now. And as we move into the energy of next week, actually, this is even being more energetically supported and indicated, because not only will we still have Mars and the North Node in a trine together, that is action and energy in some type of cosmic facilitation having to do with the destiny and where we're going. The North Node has to do with fate and destiny, and Mars has to do with action, energy, behavior, what's happening. So I've been saying this is a time where these fated actions are really being universally sort of supported and facilitated in some type of effort to move us forward somehow, which we know we're at a major transition point anyways energetically because of Pluto's entrance into the sign of Aquarius this week as well. But as we move into the energy of next week, and we're going to talk about this next week, it will be one of our sort of defining energies of the vibes going on next week. We will have the sun in Sagittarius forming the third prong of this grand fire trine that we're going to be moving through as we move through next week, with the sun in Sag, Mars in Leo, and the North Node in the sign of Aries. So that's a real interesting energy. There could be something that we feel, again, is being ignited within us, some type of spark or some type of fuse or some just type of flash of insight or something, or some type of motivation that is coming through. This is probably going to be a very inspired, motivated time to take some action, to make a change, to move ourselves forward somehow. That is coming in the energy of next week. It really is activating as we move through the weekend. This weekend, as the sun is now in the sign of Sagittarius, moving closer into the trine with Mars and the North Node. On Saturday especially, you may feel this. Sunday, it may be a little bit more difficult to perceive the elevated levels of energy being brought to us by this fire trine that's incoming next week, because that moon in Virgo opposing Neptune in the sign of Pisces could make us just feel more tired, more groggy, maybe like a bit less physically energized. But definitely once we get into Monday, we're probably going to start feeling a pickup. And even on Saturday, before the moon Neptune opposition, we may feel sort of just enhanced levels of energy in the context of whatever it is maybe that we're focused on or that we're working on or that we're engaged in. A lot of times the moon opposing Saturn causes us to be more focused on like just some job or task or duty or responsibility that needs to be tended to or done somehow. So again, Saturday is much more supported in getting things done than the energy of Sunday. In terms of Friday now, sorry, I'm sort of like being all over the place. With that sun square, or the moon square sun, actually the moon entering Virgo, forming the square to the sun in Sagittarius, this could create disruptions, frustration, conflict in travel as well, communication or travel. You do want to make sure that you leave early if you need to get somewhere, if you got to do like a commute or something on Friday, just because it could be just kind of like congested, or there could be stuff happening that's just causing delays or frustrations somehow. Double check communications, schedules, plans, itineraries, as I mentioned earlier, the fine print, and anything like contractual or transaction based or like documentation and stuff like that. Misunderstandings or overlooking some crucial or critical detail could cause problems or issues when we've got a moon in Virgo squaring a sun in Sagittarius. People could be coming up against like uncomfortable truths or information that are somehow in disagreement with what they had previously thought or understood or believed about something. This could also cause projection and cognitive dissonance and people having like mental issues. When we've got a Gemini Sagittarius square, and also with the Pisces influence going on there as well, this can create mental situations where we're just not seeing things how they are. Our perspectives can get skewed in certain type of ways. That Jupiter energy kind of like expands maybe some of these issues that we might have going on. So like mental health issues and concerns could be perhaps something that's manifesting throughout the course of this weekend as these particular lunar transits come in as well. But it's also very good energy like on the other side of that for kind of like systematically dismantling people's beliefs or arguments about things, especially if we have sort of our facts pinned down in a very straightforward way to present that can't be disputed. So it is a good energy to make your case about something. If you have the goods, it can really like shatter some illusions. That's, as I said, kind of a underlying theme that we're moving through right now, and again, something that is quite supported in the energy of the weekend. So largely arguing over what's real and what's accurate. I think this weekend, all weekend, with the third quarter square moon on Friday, this could be just kind of like something that's popping up throughout the course of the day. And on Saturday, literally like even more so also, because we do have that moon Saturn opposition. The moon in Virgo, this is, as I've said, facts, information, context, details, the fine print of things. Saturn is like law and order and the rules and regulations and control and judgment and stuff like that. So there's no room for error really on Saturday. Narrow-minded focus on the details, on the context, on following the rules, proper protocol. This is a very neat and orderly, focused effort type of energy, but it's still sort of like belief and information based, with Saturn in the sign of Pisces, which also has a lot to do with our belief systems and the beliefs that like structure our reality sort of, and the moon in Virgo, which again, as I keep saying, has to do with the details and the information and the context and the facts, and finding out perhaps something that is at odds with what we thought it was. So there could be questions this weekend over what is accurate, over what is to believe. We could be going through things with a bit of a fine-tooth comb with that Saturnian influence on Saturday, and that's why another reason why I'm saying if you need to focus on something, you want to do it on Saturday when Saturn is narrowing our focus and is much more orderly, okay, than on Sunday when the energy just like totally disperses and we've got squares going on to the planet of communications. I mean, the moon in the sign of Virgo is ruled by Mercury, who that moon is squaring. So right there's like a distortion in the informational field that's coming through. Opposite Jupiter, we could really be believing that. Again, in Sagittarius, that could be our belief or other people's belief. And denial could result, conflict, debate, argument. Okay, so Saturday is the most serious day of the weekend. This is when you want to get it done. Great day to be productive, put some work or effort into something. Cleaning, organizing, errands, productivity, and efficiency, I would say, are some good keywords for Saturday, especially with this incoming grand fire trine that is going to be sweeping us up next week and moving us in some direction, firing us up to take some type of action to move ourselves forward somehow, channeling that or tapping into that. And the moon Saturn opposition could really help us accomplish something productively on Saturday. So that's really how things are looking as we move through the weekend. As I said, you know, going back to Sunday now, energy levels could drop a bit on Sunday. Things aren't exactly clear. Take the day off if you can. And again, like the small chores, it is a busy energy. Like I said, there could be like a lot of information that's sort of flying around out there. But don't take anything too seriously on Sunday. Major distortions in the energy field. And we do have this incoming fire trine, like I said, that is going to be like lighting something within us or under us. I do think over the course of the next week that will be inspiring or motivating us to take some action to get ahead, to move ourselves forward somehow. It's Mars in the sign of Leo. It's like reigniting the life force and the desire to create because perhaps of some truth or some shift in perspective or some expanded level of optimism or hope that has to do with the future. And this like facilitated universal force that is supporting us in making choices, taking action, behaving in certain ways, doing certain things that are contributing to, on one hand, like our growth in alignment with who we're supposed to become right now, like this path of fate and destiny. And on the other hand, the South Node, will be in the sextile to both the Sun and also Mars. This is a karmic release also from perhaps the ways that we had defined ourselves in the past that may have limited our purview of what was possible for ourselves and our ability to move in this new direction, or the South Node in Libra. It could also have to do with the connections, the relationships, the partnerships, the social constructs that we were held within, or that in some way somehow had been preventing us from like going in this new direction or going through this new phase of growth as well. So very growth oriented week that we have coming up. And again, we've got a very growth oriented month and season that we're about to be moving towards as the Sun is preparing to come into the once yearly opposition with Jupiter, the planet of expansion, good fortune, luck, blessings, in the sign of Gemini. Some very like beneficial information is coming our way, or we're going to learn something that is going to help us be successful somehow as we move forward throughout this period of time as well. I do think that there are some positive like increases or just some very productive growth that we're moving towards. And again, this this fire trine is setting us up for that as we head into next week as well. So that really is what I have to say about the energy this weekend. It's really interesting also because Venus is at 13 degrees of Capricorn on Friday. That Sabian symbol is a fire worshiper, meditates on the ultimate realities of existence. And then we've got this fire trine coming in on, well, it's going to be exact, I think Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, but we've got it's building now. It's very present now that the Sun is transiting through the early degrees of Sagittarius throughout the course of the weekend. But it is about the fire worshiper, like this fire energy that is really orienting us towards the higher purpose that universe is trying to align us with right now. So that's what I got for you guys today. There's our weekend overview. Again, it is kind of more like a low-key weekend. Get errands done, get chores done. Don't do anything you got to think too hard about on Sunday. Saturday is the day where if you've got responsibilities, duties, tasks, things that you need to do this weekend, do them on Saturday. Friday with this square, this is just this more a bit conflict-oriented day. There could be just like scuffles or disputes or arguments, or people could just be more argumentative generally. And so if you find yourself experiencing things like that, that could have to do with it. Let's get one more card now, you guys. Synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe. One more piece of guidance, advice, wisdom that we should keep in mind as we move through the weekend. It says sort your friends, which really, again, like this fire sign trine that we have coming in with the North Node, Mars, and the Sun, that is also an energy that is going to, as I keep saying, that is orienting us towards the future in a way that really could be detaching us from the groups or the social situations, the networks, the relationships that maybe we had defined ourselves by in the past, but are not in alignment with the new version of ourselves that we are becoming now and as we move forward. So our message for today, you guys, it says, sort your friends. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. Proverbs 11:29. Your house is your mind. Fill your mind only with thoughts of harmony, health, peace, joy, and goodwill. Likewise, choose only those friends who embody those same sorts of ideals. Having negative thoughts and negative friends is not the road you wish to take. Be discriminating, sort out your thoughts, and sort through your friends. You already know the answer to this. So there it is, you guys. That's our guidance for the weekend. And if you find yourself in a situation where maybe there are disputes coming up and you're realizing maybe that is what you no longer wish to involve yourself with, this could be the message that applies to you also. So I don't know, you guys, that's what I got. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think they would enjoy this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I love you. I am so grateful for your presence here. Your contributions to my channel are so valuable to me. I really appreciate knowing what's going on with you guys. If you're having experiences that reflect what I'm talking about, please let me know in my comment section below. As I said, your presence is very meaningful and valuable to me, and thank you guys again so much for being here. If you want to know what's on this here whiteboard, I have a Facebook group in my description box below where I post images of this board. And that's all I have to say. So come back with me on Monday, you guys. We're going to have this whole new week of astrology to get into. It is going to come in like a lion. I do think this could be this rush of just a very different vibe. We haven't had like a fire sign trine along these lines, and I don't remember talking about one in the very recent past. So it could be like a burst of energy, a fireball that we've got going on next week, and I'll be back to talk about it. So you should be here too, you guys. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time. Have a beautiful weekend, and until then, bye guys.